Hey, it's Jason with 4W Knives. I got a video today. I'm going to be doing a build for a build with another maker and gentleman with a YouTube channel called Cormulus. And we are going to do a build for build. I'm going to make him an EDC similar to this wood cutout out of 1075, and he's going to make me a forging hammer. Last couple of videos I've gotten a couple of comments in regards to my hammers, which I didn't realize my hammers were that bad for forging. My big hammer, I actually like it a lot. It's a 4-pounder and I can swing it, and considering how big it is, I don't get fatigued with it. I'm not sure why. Some of these little ones I swing and I get tired really quick, but I want to have good stuff. So Cormulus reached out to me, and we decided to make this happen. So I'm going to put his link in the description, provided I can figure out how to do it. I know other YouTubers do it, so I got to be cool and do what they do. But I'm going to put that in this the description, and so you can check out his YouTube. Seems like a great guy, and I've watched a couple of videos, and the videos are very interesting. So go check them out. And in the meantime, watch this build. I'm still working on my fishhook Damascus knife. I've got it shaped, got it made out, but I'm waiting on a couple of things to finish it up, and that'll be produced here pretty quick. So I appreciate you watching. I'm gonna get to heating this up. Gonna have to shrink it or narrow it a little bit and then lengthen it out, and then I'll start trying to shape it to the size of this. Appreciate it. Okay, I start off on the press just to narrow this down. It was a 2-inch wide piece of 1075. Trying to get it down to about 1.5 inches. My press wasn't ideal for this, but it helped save a little bit of time. Once I gave up on the press, I went back to the anvil and narrowed it down by hand. Something that I didn't show, after I get this to desired width, I take it to the roller mill and get it down to a thickness that I'll be happy with at the end. Roller mill is just a good way of getting it all even and lengthening it out. Once I get it to the final thickness from the roller mill, I cut in the tip using the angle grinder and then start hammering it in from there. This is about a 2.5 inch blade with about a 7.5 inch overall side blade. One of my favorite EDCs that I make is this style. It's real comfortable. This is the first one that I've hand forged. You can see I'm trying different methods. Ended up being pretty decent using the horn. Trying to keep it from getting too thick right there at that finger swell was difficult. I'm sure there's a way to do that. I'm still learning on that, but end up being okay. I get it to a decent shape whenever I'm all said and done, but I did have to do quite a bit of cleanup on the grinder to get it to its final shape. Having a small wheel attachment for my grinder really helped. I was able to get that finger swell in and a little swoop at the back of the handle. I ended up being pretty happy. I did forge in the bevels. I'd say 85%. I hammered them in, and then once I took it to the grinder to shape it, I had to grind down quite a bit of the bevels that I'd put in just to reach the shape that I wanted. But again, overall, I was happy with the shape. You'll see it here in a minute. I'm going to leave this a forged look. Once I get it to shape, you'll see that I'll use the ball peen part of the hammer and put some texture in. He said he's going to use it out on the farm and wants it to be a knife that he's not afraid of damaging. He can kind of rough it up a little bit. So I'm going to leave the forged look or the textured look on the top of the knife or near the spine of the knife, and get the bevels just as clean as what I can. So anyways, here we go. After putting on the texture, I'll take it to the 2x72 and go ahead and rough grind the bevels. I've really found that whenever I hammer in the bevels, it saves so much time on the grinder. I still don't always do it, but man, every time I do, I'm thankful. It just goes so much quicker. I think this took me maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops, and got it ready for heat treat really quick. Speaking of the heat treat, I will do 3 normalizing cycles where I'll heat it up to around that 1400-1500 degrees. I use a forge, so I don't know exactly what temp I have. I kind of go by color, and it is just a dark red, and it's no shadows on the knife. Once I get that, I'll just hang it up, let it cool slowly. And it is really cold in the shop today, so it'll cool probably quicker than normal, but it'll be room temperature by the time it's done. I'll do that 3 times, and it's supposed to help the grain structure shrink, which just makes it an overall better knife and longer lasting. I quench it in vegetable oil because that's what I have. I heated it up to about 140 degrees, and then I put it in the toaster oven at 400 degrees for 2 hours, and I'll do that twice. All right, to the finish grinding we go. And if you've watched any of my videos, my process is still pretty much the same. I start with an 80 grit, go to a 120, then 200 or 220 Trizac, 400 Trizac, and then I will go to a conditioning belt. I have started a little bit different on the conditioning belt, which you'll see here in just a second. It was starting to put some large scratches in it, and I saw somebody use some WD-40 on it. I've started doing that, and those large scratches haven't been there, so maybe lucky, but it seemed to work. So that's what I'm doing right here. And then I'll go back in after I put my maker's mark on it, and I'll use a 800 grit Trizac belt to clean it up. All right, ready for handle fit up. This is what I'm using, some acrylic scales. It's called Deep Ocean. I got it at Woodcrafters in Oklahoma City. Fairly good price. Stuff shines up really pretty. There's Doug. Let's say hi to Doug. And but anyways, I'm gonna fit it up. I've got it taped together. I'm just going to get it somewhere handy. Tape it to it, punch the holes, and then shape it with a grinder. As you can see, I decided to use the portaband to trim off the excess to limit some of my grinding. I was able to save some of these pieces for possibilities using in a later project too. All right, this is post glue up. I'm gonna run through some belts. I'll start with an 80, then go to a 120, a 220, and then end with a 600. I had to slow the belt grinder down a whole bunch. This is my Jugs pitching machine grinder. So I was able to do that. It kept burning this acrylic scale each time that I got too fast or pressed too hard. This 1-inch belt that I got from Combat Abrasives really helped on finishing it out. And then I run it over to the buffer and try to get a pretty good shine on it. One thing I like about acrylic is when you buff it, it really comes out. Really ended up enjoying and liking how this one turned out. All right, all finished up. Thought the scales turned out well. Really liking this textured forged look right now on my mono steel. Probably going to continue to do it this way, or at least experiment, try to get better at it. I did this horizontal carry sheath, first one I've done like this. Usually my daughter does it, but she is down with knee surgery, so it was left up to me. I did my best on it. I appreciate you guys watching the video, and I'm hoping that Cormulus likes this, and I anxiously await my hammer. But I really do appreciate you guys, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.